right, so it's now time for us to take a look at not what's trending, but mind your language here on the show with Willice, the word master. Willice, good evening. How are you doing this evening?
Fine, thanks, Betty. And, I've loved something about that young African, that great musician.
You
see, like now that song, My Woman, My Everything. Ranking, of course, that is the name. But, there is something he has said to the youth that has really, really struck me because, we have to encourage the African youth to do everything in their power to ensure that they excel. And my word is, since our youth are very wonderful people, they can achieve what may not even be achievable.
Right.
But I want to tell them something, just keep it up, and you should know that whatever you do, give it your all and spend every energy and your time because, if you spend peanuts, when you spend peanuts, you should only be ready to reap monkeys. But when you spend time the way our African youth do it nowadays, they achieve just their best.
Lovely.
But ranking a thumb for you.
Oh, that's really, that's a very strong message. Thank you very much, Willice, the one master, for that. And I can't believe you know his songs, My Woman, My Everything. That's so impressive, Willice.
Betty, I've just loved the song. He has played it, and my big son, that is, sometimes he plays it in the house, and you know what I always do, because you have to love your family. I tell Mama Austin,
course.
That song, My Woman, My Everything, and then the best she can do is a smile, and then we smile together as a family. They know about it.
Interesting, Willice. Wow. Okay, so let's take a look at Word on the Street, Willice, before we continue with the show.
Usurper. Usurper. Usurper.
A surprise. A surprise. A surprise.
A supper, a supper, a supper.
Aspa, aspa, aspa.
All right, so that is Word on the Street there, a supper. I'm sure that's not how you pronounce that word. Willice, talk to us about that.
You say usurper, usurper.
Okay.
A person who usurps. Like now when you usurp power, you're a usurper. So what we should not say is a supper, a surprise, and all that.
Usurper.
Usurper.
Oh, all right, so it's not...
Usurper, zapper.
Oh, wow. All right.
Zapper.
So it's not usurper, but usurper. Got it, Willice. Moving on to this other word.
Usurper.
Usurper, with a Z. All right. Do we say bitumen, which is which, Willice? I'm not even sure.
You say bitu. That letter T takes the sound ch, just like in ritual. You say bitumen.
Bitumen.
But we say bituminous. Bituminous.
Okay.
When we talk of the adjective.
All right. Bitumen.
Bituminous.
Bitumen. Interesting, Willice. That's a surprise because normally I even say it wrongly. I say bitumen so confidently, but the correct pronunciation is bitumen. Thank you for that, Willice. Moving on to this other word, Willice. Yeah. Secretarial.
Betty, sometimes you make it very interesting when you say you said it confidently without knowing that it is wrong. And I always say nobody can be perfect.
Nobody. But you're so close to that, Willice. You're so close to perfection in pronunciation.
Nobody can be perfect, Betty.
All right,
Only God.
Okay. Willice, let's take a look at another word here. Secretarial. How do we say that?
Well, we say secretary or secretary, but that, adjective, you say now terial, not tarial.
Terial.
We don't say secretarial, you say terial, secretarial. And Betty, with this, we can also share with our dear viewers the fact that we have secretariat, not secretariat. You say secretariat, like for a political party.
Yeah.
Many people talk of secretariat, but the acceptable or the accurate pronunciation is secretariat.
What? Okay, that's a surprise, Willice. That's another word, I mispronounce it confidently. So it's not secretariat, but secretariat. Secretariat?
Yes,
Secretariat?
terriat.
Terriat.
Secretariat, secretarial.
Okay, interesting, Willice. Wow, leo ni leo. Moving on to another word, Willice. Heroine or heroine?
But we have the word hero.
Yeah.
A hero. But when we talk of the drug, that is the hard drug, we say heroin. And when we also talk of, that female hero, allow me to say that in quotes. But when it's a female, that is where we have heroine, you say heroin. Just like the hard drug, you also say heroin, not heroin as commonly said locally.
Wow, okay. Interesting, Willice. Moving on to this other word. Do we say retrogressive? Which is which?
Or you say retrogressive,
All right.
not retrogressive. You also say retrospect, in retrospect, or rhetoric, not rhetoric, not retrospect, not retrogressive. So you say
Retrogressive and retrospect. That's another one that I used to mispronounce. I used to say retrospect, so it's retrospect. Got it, Willice. Moving on to this other word. Do we say amongst? How is it pronounced, Willice? Amongst.
Betty, letter O in that word takes the mid-central vowel sound just like in the word son. My son, not my son. You say amongst. And you also say among and amongst. What we should avoid is among or amongst. Amongst is fairly common locally, but it's, a bit, I would use the word, but I apologize for that. It's a bit weird when you say amongst. The word is amongst.
Wow.
Amongst, and you say among. Not among, not amongst.
Okay, Willice, got it. Moving on to this word by our feedback question. It's by Jesse Mutai here in Nairobi. He's asking about caveat. How do we pronounce that?
That one is commonly used in law, if I'm not wrong. Betty, we have caveat. Then the next word is a bit tricky.
Yeah.
You say emptor, not emptor. Caveat emptor, not caveat emptor. Caveat emptor, a bit common locally, but the correct or acceptable pronunciation is caveat emptor. And I wish also to remind our viewers that we don't say mentor. Mentor, no. You say mentor, my mentor. Just like corridor, not corridor, the corridor. So that O takes the long sound with that R being silent. So emptor, mentor, corridor.
Interesting, Willice. Wow.
Yes.
That one also another one that we mispronounce. All right, Willice, any surprise word that we have tonight as we wrap up the show?
Oh, surprise word, but in fact, and I wish to appeal to our, viewers that I may go through the feedback questions for the last time. That is the many names. From next week, it may only be about 5 people. So I plead to take care of them. That is like we have Lona Kotecha, you say clandestine or clandestine. Silas Njuguna of Nyeri, you say indict or you also say indictment. You don't say indict, and you should also avoid saying indictment. Christine Chibalonza Ogaja, you say Caucasian. You can say Caucasian or Caucasian. Caucasian or Caucasian. Then palatial. Matthews Mwendwa, wreath. To lay the wreath. To lay a wreath, not a wreath. Then we have Professor Omolo Onger. You say inquisitive. Professor, you say inquisitive. Vincent Otero, Jeff and Caleb, you say incubate. Incubate.
Incubate.
Mercy Mutua of Machakos, blatant. Yeah, incubate.
Yes.
Incubate.
Incubate.
Then Mercy Mutua of Machakos, you say blatant or blatant. And you also say
blatant.
flagrant. That is the synonym. Yeah, blatant or blatant. What we should avoid is blatant.
Okay.
And you also say flagrant. Flagrant. Then we have bony links. You say horizon. Horizon. But remember, don't say horizontal. You say horizontal, but that is, the first one is horizon, not horizon.
All right.
Then you also say often or often. Rose Wali Mganga of Mombasa, you say anti. The prefix is anti. Anti-corruption commission, anti. But remember that in American English and other regional varieties, you may hear of anti.
Anti.
So anti is the British pronunciation. Lydian Akelo of Nakuru, you say adao. Franco Hamid, poverty, not poverty and poverty. Just avoid those ones. Say poverty. John Sifuna Wanyonyi, you say sumptuous.
Sumptuous.
Anne Onyango of Nairobi, exiguous. Yeah, sumptuous. Not sumptuous, not sumptuous.
All right, please.
Kioko wa Mwema, you say flower for unga. Unga, flower.
Flower.
Ua or maua, you also say flower. But sakafu, you say floor, the floor. Bill Cruisers of Mombasa, election or election. But election is the best in terms of the accurate pronunciation. Sanya Kevin, visitors. Then Ogutu Bernard. Remember when we say Bernard Betty is when we have B-E-N-A-R-D. But when we have B-E-R-N-A-R-D, you pronounce that name now as Bernard. We have Bernard and Bernard. So Bernard Ogutu, you say punctuation, puncture, and punctual. Then we go straight to our surprise word for tonight because of time.
Yes, yes.
This word, many people find themselves saying Anopheles. Anopheles mosquito. Betty, saying Anopheles mosquito is just like saying dengue or dengue fever, which is inaccurate or wrong.
Yes.
You say Anopheles. Anopheles mosquito. Not mosquito, not Anopheles. Anopheles mosquito. So we should get that one right. And we also say dengue fever. Dengue fever, not dengue, not dengue fever. Finally, confusing words.
Yeah.
The noun, the upper word is a noun. You say breath. Breath. Bad breath. Bad breath. So that is without an E in its ending. But the lower one is a verb. What you do is you breathe. Breathe. That is the lower word with an E in its ending. So the lower one, breathe. The upper one, breath.
Wow.
For any other question, it's at Willice Ochieng 1. That is on Twitter. Betty,
Willice.
anything from you?
After that lesson, Willice, what more can I say? That was just so interesting. So, wait a minute, Willice, before I let you go. So this word elephantiasis. Okay,
you have a word which is, it's long, eh?
Extremely long.
You're talking about the disease.
Yeah.
Oh, you say elephantiasis. Elephantiasis.
Elephantiasis.
One thing that I would share with you, Betty, yes, when you're pronouncing words which are multisyllabic with many syllables, or the long words, you don't be so fast. Don't say it so fastly. Try to engage maybe a gear that takes you, slowly, so that you say elephantiasis. And that is, if you find it, giving you a problem. You remember? Yes, you remember when we were talking about conscientiously.
Conscientiously. Yeah.
It was a problem. So some of these words can be tricky for anybody. But for your question, you say elephantiasis. Any other thing? Anything English, Betty?
I'm sure I have very many questions that we can't finish them tonight, Willice, but thank you so much for the lesson tonight. Like he said...
Yes, time is against us, Betty.
Yeah. Like he said, you can reach him on his Twitter handle at Willice Ochieng1, or you can just choose to wait here for Friday briefing every Friday, and you'll be able to learn more and more pronunciations that are correct. All right, so we will take a break right now, and we'll be coming back with sports.